Wait for the beep. Okay, that light is being a bit distracting. Just let me set it to standard. Lovely.
Rolling?
Yeah, let me just shut Skyrim.
I was going to say, can you hear Skyrim?
Yeah, so I have to cut that out, otherwise we get sued.
Because Bethesda is definitely on the chase. Definitely looking after Flesh and My Flesh.
Yeah.
Anticipating it and getting ready for a lawsuit.
Well, it'd be fine if they weren't. They wouldn't find one. I'm aiming to pick out a lot of the music myself. Why am I putting shoes on? I have no idea.
I don't know where you're putting shoes on.
Okay, I'll just do it.
Presumably we would have shoes in the actual day.
Yes, I expect so. Question. Do you or Joe well, I know Joe has a younger sister. I'm just thinking we got a shot where a girl's shoe falls across the floor at the start. So I'm thinking Joe can bring in a couple of his sister's shoes. We can make that work.
Yeah. Well, I have one twin brother who has size 10 feet, so I don't think that's gonna work.
No, probably not. Okie dokie. What do I need? Script. That's what I need. Lovely. Okay, let's do character notes while we go through it. So, just if there's anything that crosses your mind, if there's anything you think the other person should do differently.
Because last time we did a sorry, I'm just looking. You got golf clubs there and stuff. That's more weapons that we can use in the bar.
Yeah. And check this out. I made these and got this.
So we need to make a list of this.
We got an armory.
We've got a bow and arrow.
We got nunchucks.
We got nunchucks. We got an axe.
This is a hint, chaps. Feel that. Feel like a boss when you have nunchucks.
That's perfect.
I missed. Right. And we got a bow.
Yeah. So as I was saying last time, we did a full run.
Yeah.
How about this time we do it in sections and focus on sections, like get it almost to a standard of like rehearsal wise, like TV shows and stuff, where they sort of do a few lines and then focus on those few lines, get it perfect.
Yeah.
By the way, while we're on this subject, we shouldn't go for absolute perfection because we're going to be there forever.
Yeah.
It goes for any level.
And we're gonna be only at that level. When I was thinking we could get in a couple of rehearsals actually at the location, just in the run up to actually doing it. If that is the carbon monoxide detector, I am gonna die silently.
I was about to say keep getting moving, but there's going to be a bomb.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go from the top.
Okay. Are we stopping or just?
Let's go until we feel we need to stop. I'm thinking maybe if we stop on there is a pause on page 2 at the bottom. So if we literally just do the first 2 pages, and then discuss how we feel about it. Okay. So
hang on, let me just get. I wanna get the stopwatch that I fiddle about with.
Yeah, good idea. Oh, the gun.
It should still be in the other room if you want to go and get it. Any sign of it?
I cannot seem to see it. Oh wait, no, I found it.
Oh, cool. Are you dead?
No. I'm just testing.
Oh dear. Okay, let us go. Never gonna tell me where you got that thing, are you?
I'm fairly sure you can make a reasonable guess. But no, I'm not.
What have you been up to today?
Not much. Got up, walked about, read the paper. And do you know, some crazy woman ran a load of people down in London yesterday for no reason.
Huh?
Yeah, just went crazy, got into a car and...
What date were you on, Dick?
It's April 17th today, 17th of April.
No, the year's gone up really short these days. I'm just saying, we've got like 150 days left.
Then we'll pick up more. Did you get anything while you were out?
It's dead all out there. The store's completely bare.
Completely.
I think that was a pot noodle. Should we stop there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the first bit. One quick I wanted to raise with you. I noticed it when I was going from the footage last time. I don't know if this is intentional, but last time throughout the whole thing you were holding onto the gun and it kind of looked like it was a comfort item for Jack, which, I don't know, I felt at the start of, certainly through this bit at the start, I feel Jack should be more at home, more settled in his environment, so at that point he doesn't need the gun, he's just sitting around, he picks up a plank of wood and hits the ball with it, you know, that's typed out in page 1 I think here. Oh no, it's page 2 and there's over to the centre of the room. He picks up a piece of wood and he flexes it. So
Yeah.
it's more if he puts it down and he just is at home. When it starts getting more intense, I think that's when you should rely on the gun a bit more and just pick it up and just be holding it a lot more.
Well, I mean, you're
no.
you're definitely right when you say like you know, an item of comfort, because that is definitely what I was going for. The what I wanted to do was for Jack to be in contact with the gun pretty much all the time, and when he puts it away, like he sort of falls into his comfort zone and then realises, oh wait, I don't have the gun, I don't quite feel right here, picks it back up again. Now, the reason why I did that is because we're establishing the fact in the first episode that Jack plays it safe ridiculously in this environment, and he doesn't want to leave and everything. So I was thinking that symbolises that, because he's always got the gun on him no matter what. He's always like he's going to be trigger happy. Well, you know, if they need to, yeah. But that is a good point you raised, the fact that he doesn't need it. He wouldn't feel like that in this environment. So
it's just.
I think definitely once we get out of the barn,
he has it all the time.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes an item of comfort. It's just that the character of Jack is seen to be evolving, in a very short time period. Because when I first wrote this, I was thinking totally independent film, so I had to get from start to finish in that short space. So his character's got to change rapidly, both on the inside and on the outside. So
that is obvious. That's perfectly fine because that was the original plan. The what we need to make sure we do is establish at the start of episode 2, because I mean it's not. By the end of this, I mean the change is evident that something's happening, but it's not that it's set in stone that he's like a whole new person now. It's still kind of it's a cliffhanger now that we've rewritten the ending so that we can make more parts. So as long as we establish at the start of episode as long as we establish at the start of episode 2 that Jack has changed a little bit. He's Steve has got in his mind, but he's still the same guy because we cannot. He needs to get into the real world before he grows up, as it were. As for the first 3 pages, the way I'm acting this and the way I think we should keep it is we're keeping it very sort of on the down low. Jack is he's quiet. So Steve, there's only 2 of us. We don't need to be loud. We're kind of a little bit wary / scared because, and as we see later on, spoilers. I don't know. I'll admit it. When maybe we'll edit this bit out and then put it on YouTube, or we'll just put it up after we finish the episode. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that one I put up that I sent to you is private. They're all unlisted, so I'm not planning to make them public until at least sometime after we've done the actual thing.
No, so as I was saying, with the noise thing, when the gunfire is let off at the end of episode 1, every Jack goes goes ape shit. So and it's not just the storyline purposes. When you watch horror stuff, it always starts with quiet. You know, when's the last time you saw a horror film?
It exactly. The whole thing. I mean, it's got to slowly rise. It's not one of those ones that sort of goes like that. It's got to. The tension's got to slowly build.
Well, it will go like that as far as because this is episodic. It has to. Yeah. But but no, you are definitely right. It's in terms of, as far as episodic work goes, it has to go like that to an extent. Otherwise, it's just not.
Yeah.
It's just
otherwise, it's just shouting.
Yeah. But what my point is, when was the last time you saw a horror film where the first 10 seconds of the film was someone walks out and then a zombie jumps in and eats their heart out?
Well, actually, I have seen a film like that once.
Yeah, but I mean, usually it starts off with like.
If it's any consolation, it wasn't a good film.
Yeah, I was just saying, that was question number 2. Was it a good film?
Yeah.
But no, maybe like an establishing start, then like some ambience, and then quiet for a while. We build that up. If we keep it quiet, we're also not only we got to keep to the horror stereotype to a certain extent. One, because it's a series of short films, so you have to cling to stereotypes. You got no choice.
Yeah.
And 2, this is our first film project, so there's nothing wrong with staying to what works to a certain extent.
I mean, I'm trying to follow in the footsteps of like an episode of The Walking Dead. That's sort of the atmosphere that I based this whole thing on, because I really like that. I think it was a really good series. But I think the unique thing and the funny thing at the start, what I was going for, I want the first page and a half up until the years are not really short these days, up until that shot of the dirty newspapers, just those couple of lines. I want it to be like Steve's just come home from a long day at work. I want it to be a really odd atmosphere, because we've seen a zombie, we've seen him sneak past the zombie, and then he's just come in and he's acting like it's a normal day out. You know, it's like, what have you been up to today? You know, it's a normal question, you know. And I really like that atmosphere for an apocalyptic society. Obviously it changes, but I thought that was a really interesting place to start.
Yeah. Yeah, so as long as we just keep that relationship between the two. Because I say straight away, I mean, it does take a few pages, but we do see the tension starting to build up. Questions are being asked straight away by Jack, in this section just after the one we finished. But this is going to be the most important, apart from the end, which I don't think we'll have any problem with, because that's easier.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's us raising, our highest
that's
point.
the climax. I think it's going to be very easy to shout and hit and just go wild. I mean, that in one way
It's not something that we have a problem with
No,
but some people do have a problem with that, but it's not something that, I think really...
It seems like both of us have really got the hang of letting ourselves go.
Well, it's either something you find easy or something you find hard. I don't think it's, I don't think there's much of an in-between. But besides that, this is going to be the most important scene of episode 1. I would think.
Just establishing
I'm
that
talking about
relationship.
The first couple of pages, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Steve comes in with this preset idea that I really want to change something today, and actually, does he? Does it? Do you think he climbs in the barn with the intention of getting them both to leave, or do you think that sort of builds as he argues with Jack again? I think it might build, because there's a line at the end, you know what, that's it, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore. And that sort of insinuates that he's made up his mind. Yeah, so that will... I found out something new about the character. That intention of getting them to leave will build slowly as Jack is more resentful and annoying towards Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But what do you because the key here, as with anything in the acting business, because I say the most important thing is not first and foremost, you got to think, what does the character want? So if you know that, then everything else comes with it.
Yeah.
With Jack, I think it's pretty easy. He wants nothing to change.
Yeah.
He's hell bent on making sure we stay in this zone. What do you think when Steve walks through the door into the barn, right? Or the barn in real life, the room in the film. What's his thought process? What do you think he wants from the day? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be this moment where, you've got the shot on Jack, you see the cross, you see the gun, and then during that shot, that's when you hear the line. You don't see Steve, you hear the line. I've forgotten the line. You're never going to tell me where you got that thing, are you? And Jack will look up, shot will spin round, and Steve will be out there, he'll jump down, and then we'll cut back to a shot of Jack, and it'll be
We're gonna have Joe running round. We're gonna have Joe running around in this episode.
Yeah. But I mean, that moment, it will be like, I'm back, and Steve's not really sure whether he wants to. Each time he goes out, he's thinking, I could just go, I could just leave. But he still values his brother a great deal. Yeah,
definitely. But I it's like you said. I think part of me thinks like he's glad to be home, but he kind of wishes he could go back out there again.
Yeah.
Just to do something.
I mean, there's that very primal urge, I think, which Steve may or may not, I honestly don't know, he may come to be the more dominant axe-wielding character at the end. He may turn out through all of this. I know he's arguing to save the little girl, not to kill her. I think it might make it even more interesting if by episode 4 he turned into that Daniel character in The Walking Dead. You know, he had an axe and he would just beat through herds of zombies to get wherever he wanted to go, you know. And maybe it's just that bloodlust that builds up. I honestly don't know, but it'll be a heck of a lot of fun finding out.
Definitely a possibility. Okay. Let's go through that scene again.
Okie
Time check. Christ, it's 10 past 10. Yeah, let's go through that scene again. This time, let's not stop at the pot noodle line. Because I remember it because you mentioned pot noodle. Yeah, let's just go for a few more pages. Let's say, obviously we do what we did last time.
Yeah.
And stop when we sort of feel like it. Maybe go to page 5 or 6.
Yeah.
From the top.
Okay. Never can tell me where they've got that thing, are you?
I'm fairly sure you can make a reasonable guess. But no, I'm not.
What have you been up to today?
Not much. Got up and walked about. Read the paper. And do you know some woman... Do you know some crazy woman ran a load of people down in London yesterday? No reason.
Yeah?
Yeah, just went crazy. Got into her car.
What date were you with?
It's the 17th of April today.
And the year's remarkably short these days. I'm just saying, we've got like 150 days there.
And then we'll pick up more. Did you get anything while we were out?
It's dead all out there. The store's completely dead.
Completely.
I think that was a pot noodle. Yeah. We had a plane coming around early.
Oh.
Yeah, it was right outside when I came in.
How did he get in?
No idea.
Did you welcome him?
No. Aren't you concerned?
Concerned?
Yeah, I mean, corpse gets in, and you think that...
A friend.
Fine, call it whatever you like.
Hey, the term is not it.
Let me talk. Okay, whatever it is gets in, okay? You get inside that fence, how? Can they fly now? Have they learnt to climb, or is there a hole out there that we need to go and patch up? I mean, look, I know that you won't go out there, but you should recognise the problem. What? What?
No, nothing. It's just interesting is all.
Interesting how?
Well, you change your opinion from one moment to the
I
next.
do not change.
Hey, now you try to lecture me about being careful and the dangers that are all around us, and yet you still don't remove them from our paths. And now if a guest comes round, they should be welcomed. Okay? Now even if our means of hospitality have changed a little in the past couple of years, don't you remember anything that Mum teaches us?
Mum's dead.
What did you say? What did you say? Tell me what you said.
Should we stop there, actually? That's it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Right. So, going from page 2 of the done. Oh, I'm on page 6. One. Right.
Sorry, mate. That was roughly 5 minutes.
Oh,
That was 5 pages. So we're looking at about 20 minutes, which is the standard you would expect for a. Well,
Decent.
I was about to say screenplay. But,
Yeah.
As it were.
It's a long short film, really.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah.
Intermediate
A minute
long.
per page is what you would expect if the page is mostly dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's come up to basically 5 minutes to 5 pages, so we can expect this to be sort of the standard length of a normal episode, really,
Yeah.
that you would see on TV or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if we go for 20-minute episodes, that's going to work out quite nicely.
We have 3 episodes, we've got an hour,
Yeah.
which it might be 3 parts. I would suspect this is going to be between 3 and 5 parts.
Hopefully, yeah.
It depends on how much it's going to take out of us budget-wise and as far as time constraints go.
Yeah.
3 parts might be the smart move, but it depends on how we feel.
Yeah, it depends on how everyone else feels as well. If
Yeah.
we get Emmys.
Because it's no, that's not it. But this is a 3-man cast at the moment. Well, technically a 2-man cast and a 3-man crew. There's going to be at least 3 major characters in episode 2, but I think there probably going to be a couple more than that.
Yeah, you never know.
If we can get actors, then I'll be surprised if we won't be able to, because you've already had people contact you. And
Yeah.
I know a couple of people who will want to do this. So.
Awesome.
Right, anything you want to say about the first quarter of Flesh of My Flesh, episode 1?
First quarter. I mean, this is the bit where the argument starts. Right here. So we've got the zombie outside, which is a little girl. So, let me think. Oops, let's see. See, I've mentioned Steve, and now that I read it again, he seems to be quite a sarcastic character, and I think that brings out the brother bond quite
definitely
well.
Because Jack is not afraid to use sarcasm here either.
Yeah.
And obviously, at the end of the day, they are brothers, so they're gonna
pick up traits from one another. Yeah.
Definitely. Just that to now there, that felt very natural. The build up in tension. You know, it felt like the character. You know, we weren't reading lines. Almost.
I mean, obviously, once we get clips down, maybe in a couple of weeks, then we can do it much better. But
yeah.
I mean, as far as what I want to focus on here is the pauses and the silences, because those moments will say a lot more than the dialogue at this stage, just with the facial expressions. So, I mean, let's look at the pauses. We've got one after "Did you welcome him?" and that's just basically going to be a shot of me, and I don't think that shot will show a lot of my face until I look up. I'm just going to look up and go, no. And that'll be a very expressionless face until I'll sort of shake it off into that next line. It'll be sort of like, no. Are you concerned? You know, it's sort of that change from, he might have been about to say something, I didn't welcome him because it was a girl. You know, he may have gone on to say that, but no, I'm gonna not get sentimental with Jack because Jack won't understand that. You know, it's judgment.
It would just be another argument.
Yeah.
With the first, I think I'm still referring to that first section that we performed earlier. Obviously, the first 2 pages. You know, for people who aren't actors, and also for people who aren't script writers, words like "oh" and "ah," when reading them straight from a script, are actually not the easiest lines to perform because they don't sound natural. No one actually says that. But obviously, from your point of view, because Steve wrote episode 1, there's not much else you can do as far as writing goes.
It's another way of saying.
It felt. This is my bad. I mean, it felt slightly off saying that, and it's kind of an. I know what you're gonna say, Steve. For me, it's kind of another way of just like maybe like depending on what the word is, like a grunt or a sigh.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it's interpretation.
Yeah.
I just want them in there as a way of not using a comma. You know, commas get dull when you're writing. You understand that if you help me with episode 2. Commas get really boring, so you're writing O's and dashes. But I mean, really, they're just interpretation. What do you think your character would say? You might just go, like you say, it's it's glance.
No, I'm just saying. I think that part of it was because that's kind of another sort of form of a pause, if you will. It's not really. It's just a reaction. Yeah. I think that was slightly off just there. If I would critique my own performance, that didn't feel quite right. I don't know. I didn't think that those couple of lines would come off particularly good on camera, but.
You never know.
Yeah, no. I'm nitpicking here because we want to get it good.
Which line exactly are you referring to?
No, I'm not referring to anything in particular. Just those sort of weird intermediate lines. But I think we need to play a bit on the factor of it being slightly awkward or at least slightly just small talkish because there's nothing going on.
Those are what the silence is, I thought. When it's like this, when both characters are scared to say something, you can interpret that through the fact that the lines are very short. They're one-liners, one sentence. There's no big tough monologues at the moment until maybe the let me talk line. I mean, we had a friend come round earlier. That sets off a chain of one-line dialogue, and that's just going to be no one wants to say anything wrong to set the other one off.
Yeah.
You know, because we both know we have contrasting feelings about this. We have had arguments like this before, so no one wants to say anything wrong. And that needs to come across mainly in the pauses. In the dialogue, I think our characters will be quite good at hiding things from each other. Maybe not from other people, maybe not from the audience, but certainly from each other.
Yeah. We're going to have to call this a day in a minute, maybe, because it's been a long day for me. But
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I was going to say was... And in real life as well, when people have a conversation, they don't normally have, long speeches between each other or say long speeches. When that happens in real life, typically, one person doesn't really want to talk, and the other one wants to have a conversation, but it's not happening, so they ramble on for a while. I think here, they've got no choice because all they have is that it has each other. And they, they've got some stuff they want to get off their chest at the end of the day. I think they do every single day of their lives because they've got problems and they're conflicted with each other.
Certainly, I mean, the alternate to that is you've got two people who both want to say something. And I think that certainly at the end, it's something I've always wanted to try actually. I don't know whether it would become annoying, but certainly with certain monologues, like maybe with my first one, Let Me Talk, something gets inside that fence, how can they fly now? Or is there a hole out there that we need to go and patch up? I think after that line you could come in with, would you, like you're about to tell me something and then I keep going at you and saying, look, I know you won't go out there, but you should recognise the problem. Because I don't think, certainly at this stage, I don't think you'd just let me go off on one of my rants, because you've heard them all before. So, I mean, we could investigate and just try out interrupting each other in the middle of certain monologues, and that's a good way of testing the other person, actually.
Well, I mean, we did do that to a certain extent through this. But obviously, we're still using a script as a guideline because we don't know this off by heart. Well, I don't. You do more than I do because you wrote it.
I've changed it too much.
But of course, we're going to be interrupting each other because we don't agree with each other. And you know, again, when was the last time you saw an argument where someone talked? There was a
I don't want it to feel. I don't want it to feel like it's my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. You know,
This is not a debate.
Argument. Yeah.
This is a conversation.
And an argument. Yes.
Slash argument. I think we're going to call it a day then.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll probably put this up on YouTube again, and I can send it to you so you can review.
Cut.
So anything else we can make? I've made a couple of nunchucks, I made a bow. I figure we've got a lot of time on our hands in the barn, so we're basically, when we get there on the shoot dates. Oh, that's one more thing I wanted to bring up with you. When in half term do you think? Oh yeah.